Welcome students, welcome to the classes of B.Pharma third semester. This is Rohit Kumar Trivedi. I will be teaching pharmaceutical engineering. Today we will start our very first unit and our very first topic, that is size reduction. Basically the size reduction is a process that is used in almost every pharmaceutical products processing. Okay, whether you are forming tablets, capsules, syrups and even suspensions and other formulations too. Pharmaceutical size reduction process is used in each and every pharmaceutical products processing or manufacturing. Okay, generally in this unit we will be covering the major objectives of the size reduction, mechanism and law that are governing the process of size reduction, factors influencing the process of size reduction, and study of the various machineries that are being used in the process of size reduction. Obviously, we will be using hammer mill, ball mill, fluid energy mill, edge runner mill, and end runner mill. Basically, we will be discussing principal, construction, working, uses, merits, and demerits of all these pharmaceutical machineries. These machineries are being used for the process of pharmaceutical size reduction. Okay, we will be discussing each and every aspect of this topic. Now, moving further, the general introduction. Obviously, whenever we talk about the pharmaceutical systems, the pharmaceutical powdered systems are generally polydispersed in nature. When we talk about what exactly a polydispersed system is, a polydispersed system is the system that have the particles of different sizes. Here you can see the particles of different sizes. In this structure, if you can observe, you will find few particles are of large size, few are of medium size, and few particles are of very small sizes. Means this system will be called as polydispersed system, and generally our almost every pharmaceutical powdered system is polydispersed in nature. But when we talk about the pharmaceutical products or the manufacturing of pharmaceutical products, actually we require the monosite or equal size system for making an ideal pharmaceutical dosage form, like tablet, capsules, suspensions and emulsions, we can say. Okay, and each and every pharmaceutical process, if we have the monosite system, we will have a uniformity in mixing and many other aspects too. Okay, now our primary aim in the process of size reduction is to form the particles of same or equal sizes. Okay, this will be our primary aim in the process of size reduction. Now, here in this structure, you can observe all the particles are of same size. Means this is a equal size or monosite system. Okay, pharmaceutical powder monosite system. This system is ideal for making ideal pharmaceutical formulations. This will also be beneficial in the production of uniform dosage form. There will be a content uniformity in our pharmaceutical products or pharmaceutical dosage forms like tablet, capsules, and even cosmetic products too. Okay, or cosmetic products too also fall in our pharmaceutical products. Okay. Now, moving to what exactly the size reduction is. Obviously, as the name is indicating, it is a process using which we are reducing the size of the specific material. Okay, generally the solids and liquids are reduced in their particle size, or when we are talking about the liquids, we generally do not say we are reducing the particle size of liquid. Generally, it is like we are reducing the droplet size of a liquid. Okay, the particles will not be used for the liquids. The particles will be used for solids only. Okay, the size reduction is a process or a pharmaceutical process in which the large size particles are reduced to the smaller size particles. This process is also known as milling, comminution, and grinding. You can say all these are the synonym of the process of size reduction. Okay, now the degree of size reduction depends upon the machinery, the method, and the duration to which we are reducing the size of a particular particle. Obviously, if you require a very fine size particle, we are required to process that material for a longer duration. If you require a coarse size particle, we will be using that particular process for the shorter duration, and ultimately by the process of sieving or size separation, we can collect the desired material of our desired size. Okay, this is the general definition of the size reduction only. Now, moving further, the method employed for the particle size reduction. Okay, so generally we have two methods, and these two methods are selected on the basis of the state of the matter, generally the solids or the liquid. If we are reducing the size of solid particles, we will be saying that we are using the process of grinding and cutting. Okay, when we are reducing the size of liquid droplets, we will be using the term emulsification or atomization. Okay, if we are reducing the size of solid particles, we will be saying that the grinding and cutting process. Okay, and if we are reducing the size of liquid droplets, we will be saying emulsification or atomization. You are required to remember these two things. You cannot use this emulsification for solid. Okay, and you cannot use the emulsification, grinding for liquid. Grinding and cutting is for solid substances, and emulsification and atomization is for liquid phase or liquid substances only. Okay, now moving further, the advantages of the process of size reduction. Obviously, there are several advantages due to which we are using the process of size reduction. Now, let's discuss them one by one. The very first is it maintains the content uniformity and uniform flow of material. Obviously, when we are formulating a pharmaceutical product, we definitely require the uniformity of the material or the different substances in our particular or single dosage form. Okay, there shouldn't be a content variability, shouldn't be there. If there is not a content uniformity, then our dosage form may not work efficiently, or even it may be lethal for the persons or the patients, those who are consuming this dosage form. Okay, and obviously the uniform flow. If the particle size is uniform, they are of a uniform size, of a smaller size, obviously the flow of all those material will be uniform. If the particle size is different, obviously the flow will be different. It will be varying according to the particle size. Next is it improves the dissolution and absorption rate of the drug. Obviously, smaller the particle size, higher the dissolution. Higher the dissolution, higher will be the absorption of that particular drug. You are required to remember, if we are reducing the particle size, the dissolution will be improved. If the dissolution is improved, obviously the absorption of the drug will be also improved. Okay, now moving to third particle, it improves the physical stability of suspension and emulsion. Okay, now we reduce the particle size of solid, and if we reduce the droplet size of liquid, if you are making an emulsion of oil and water, we will be reducing the particle size of that internal phase only. Okay, and if we are reducing the particle size in suspension, the distribution of particle will become more uniform and it will remain distributed for longer duration. If we can make such a suspension or such a emulsion in which the suspended particles are staying in their uniform state, obviously it will be more stable emulsion or suspension. If the particle size is not uniform, the larger particles will settle immediate after the formation of all this emulsion or the suspension. Okay, we do not require this kind of thing. Actually, we are trying to make a stable emulsion or a stable suspension. For that purpose, we require the droplet or particle size very small, and also these small particles are remain suspended in that particular system for a longer duration. Okay, next is the sidation process enables the extraction and drying of drug in effective manner. Obviously, when we are extracting something from a crude drug or drug material or plant or whatever material we are using for the process of extraction, if we are reducing the size, obviously the yield will be increased during the extraction process, and the extraction process will be faster. Okay, means if we are reducing the size, we will be getting our results in a short duration. If we are not reducing the size, obviously there will be the extraction, but it will not be that much effective as compared to the reduced particle size. And again, the drug will be dried if we are going through the process of drying. Obviously, the dry will be immediately if we are using small size particles. Okay. Next, it enhances the viscosity and the surface area of the drug. Okay, obviously, if you are reducing the size, it will remain distributed for longer duration, and obviously, it will reduce the flow property of that particular liquid. Okay, due to which the viscosity will be increased, and we can make our viscous formulation like we have suspension kind of thing, and the surface area will also be increased, and it can be spread for a larger surface. Okay, if we are applying a particular drug, a particular powder form or particular dosage form, that like lotions we have, several pharmaceutical products we have, to which we are going to apply on our skin. Okay, if there is larger surface area of that particular drug, means it can be spread on a larger area on our skin also. Okay, hence again it is advantage over the large size particles. And last but not the least, it improves the bioavailability. Obviously, when we are forming a dosage form, we try to make a dosage form in such a manner so that it can have a higher bioavailability. Bioavailability is the rate and extent of unchanged drug that reaches to systemic circulation. Obviously, if we are increasing the dissolution and the absorption rate of a drug, obviously the bioavailability will also be increased. And if we are increasing the bioavailability, we will be having a more efficient dosage form or drug, basically a drug in our systemic circulation for the effective therapeutic benefits. Okay, so all these are the possible advantages of the process of size reduction. Okay, for the pharmaceutical products only. Okay. Now, moving further, obviously we have advantages, but few disadvantages too. Okay, these advantages are, when we talk about the very first disadvantage, the disadvantage is maybe the process of size reduction degrade the drug. Obviously, when we are using pharmaceutical machinery and several kind of pharmaceutical products are also there. Okay, or the drugs are there, they have different nature. Few are thermolabile, few have a tendency to melt with time, few have a tendency to explosive nature is there of the substances. Accordingly, we are required to choose our process of size reduction. There will be few drugs that can degrade due to the process of size reduction, and this degradation may be of any kind of degradation. Okay, the second one is, if we are reducing the particle size, obviously the process of mixing, okay, that we are using in the processing of pharmaceutical products, the mixing process, the efficiency of mixing process will be very poor. You can say, or generally what happens, if we are reducing the particle size, the cohesive force of the particles is increased. Okay, means if we are having the bunch of all those small size particles, they make aggregate when they come in physical contact with each other. The smaller the particle size, the higher will be the aggregation. Okay, if the aggregation is higher, so we will be facing the problem during the process of mixing. Okay, there is also a disadvantage. If we are reducing the particle size, we will definitely be facing few mixing problems. Okay, and the next disadvantage of the size reduction is the process of size reduction may contaminate our product. Okay, maybe during the processing, our machineries that are not fine, that are not working accordingly, the few part of or the dust of the material means the material of the machinery may come in the that sample or the material that of which we are reducing the particle size. Okay, and it will be contaminated, means the machinery, if is not of good quality, the few materials during the process of size reduction, as we are using several impacts, force, frictions and compression like things. Okay, so during this process, there may be the chances of the material that may be taken off from the machinery, and that particle will be incorporated in our sample that we are going to reduce this size. Okay, then the sample ultimately may be contaminated. So these are the few disadvantages of the process of size reduction. Okay, now moving further, the mechanism. Okay, we are using several mechanisms. Basically, we have two kind of mechanisms. The major of the machineries of our are working on two mechanisms. Okay, we will be discussing them one by one. Okay, the very first is the impact. Okay, as the name is indicating, we will be applying a strong force we will be hitting very strongly to a particular solid material, and it will be broken down into smaller particles. Generally what happens, a solid particles generally have a few flaws. If you can observe this figure, you will find these flaws, minute cracks we can say. Basically these are not cracks, but they are called flaws. So these flaws are generally present in our solid particles, a single solid particles. When we apply impact or force on these particles, these flaws are converted into dark cracks or large size cracks we can say, as you can observe in this structure. Okay, and further impact will break this particle into several small particles from the cracks only. Okay, where there will be a crack, that particles will be broken down into smaller particles from that crack only. Okay, the very first mechanism is impact. In impact, what happens, the particles have few flaws. This structure, in this structure you can observe, okay, these minute lines, these are called flaws. When you apply impact on this particle, these small flaws are converted into cracks, and further impact converts or breaks down this particle from all these cracks, and it becomes smaller, or we get a smaller several smaller size particles, and the particles is broken down from those cracks only. Okay, this is the very first mechanism, and this is very easy. It is not that much complicated or difficult we can say. Okay, this is the impact. And our second mechanism is attrition. Here you can see the second mechanism is attrition. Now see what happens in attrition. Obviously particles already have few flaws. Okay, the flaws do not play any role. We can say the flaws do not play a very much role in the process of attrition kind of stress when we are applying on a solid particle. See what happens in attrition, the particle is broken down from the edges only. Okay, in attrition the particle will not be broken down from the center portion. It will be broken down into smaller particles from the edges only. And what will happen, the particle size will be reduced from the edges only. Okay, and likewise this process will be go inside of that single solid particles, and it will be converted into a fine powder. Okay, what happens in attrition, you are required to remember the smaller particles or the particles is broken down from the edges only. These are the small particles you can observe in this figure, or these are also the small particles. Means during the process of attrition, the surface, the particles that are on the surface will leave the surface due to the friction kind of force we can say. Okay, there are the two surfaces that move to the opposite direction of the each other, due to which a friction or attrition force is applied, and the particles are removed from the surface only. Okay, these are the two major mechanisms using which we are converting a larger particle into the smaller particle. Okay, now moving further, let's discuss the factors affecting the process of size reduction. What are the various factors that can affect the process of size reduction? Actually we have several factors. Let's discuss all those factors one by one. These factors include hardness of the material, the fibrous nature of the material, the friability of that particular material, we can say elasticity, melting point, hygroscopicity or hygroscopic nature, and there are a few sort of things are also there. We can say thermolabile nature of the material, particle size of the material, or melting point of the material we can say. Okay, all these things we will be discussing right now in the factors affecting the process of size reduction. Okay, now very first is the hardness. Okay, obviously we already know the hard material, we will definitely face problem if we are reducing the particle size of the very hard material. We will be required to have more impact, more attrition on the hard materials again. Okay, obviously harder the material, higher the force will be required for reducing the particle size. Next is the fibrous nature of few sort of materials are there that are tough in nature. Tough in nature means you can say the fibrous materials you can say, and the leather material you can say, we cannot reduce the particle size of those materials very easily. Generally we require the specialized machinery for them. We cannot reduce the size of this fibrous material by using only the impact mechanism. Generally we require the cutter mills for the reducing the size of the fibrous materials. Okay, you are required to remember all these things. Okay, so listen very carefully. If you are reducing the size of fibrous material, the impact will not be sufficient. We will be requiring the cutter mill for cutting or chopping of the fibrous material. It will be easier for us. Okay, so reducing the size of the fibrous material. Now, moving further, the friable. Basically, few or sort of substances are there, those who have higher friability, we can say. Okay, the friability is nothing but when we are transporting one material from one place to another, and if we are operating that particular material in a machinery for reducing its particle size, few small size particles may fall off from the surface of that particular solid material. You can see the example of a simple chalk. Okay, in chalk, what happens? The fine particles from the surface of the chalk fall down when we apply force or the impact on a simple chalk, we can say. Okay, chalk that we are going to use for writing only. Okay, the friability of the material is higher. If higher, we will be facing easiness in the size reduction. These substances are brittle in nature. Brittle in nature means those substances who can be broken down into smaller particles very easily. Okay, the next category is the elasticity or the stickiness. Okay, we have certain materials that become soft during the process of milling or size reduction. If the substance is becoming soft in the process of size reduction, it will be difficult to break that particles by using simple impact only. Okay, so we will requiring specialized machinery for reducing such kind of materials. Those become soft with the process of size reduction. Okay, for example, you can see the synthetic gums, waxes, or the resin. These have low melting point substances. Okay, so generally for this purpose, we can use the machineries that do not increase the temperature during the process of size reduction. Okay, the cooling system will be there that will reduce the temperature that is being generated during the process of size reduction. Okay, now moving further, the melting point. Okay, the waxy materials, obviously fats and oils, they are soft in nature. They easily melt when the temperature is increased. Obviously, when we are using the process of size reduction, the temperature of that machinery and the material is increased. Okay, during the size reduction process. If temperature is being increased, some substances are there, they melt with the temperature. So we feel difficulty in the size reduction. Obviously, we use specialized machinery that do not increase the temperature during the process of size reduction. We can use the fluid energy mill for such purpose. Okay. Next is the hygroscopic substances. Basically, the hygroscopic substances are the substances that absorb moisture, okay, the water particles from the environment very easily. For a very simple example, you can see the table salt that we are using in our regular diet with food in our homes. You might have observed the container of the salt. If there is some salt particles that are over the lid or somewhere they have fallen on the surfaces, you might have observed they become like a water droplet. Basically, what happened, that solid salt have absorbed the moisture from the environment and it gets dissolved in that particular liquid or particular water that it has absorbed from the environment. Okay, the hygroscopic substances, we definitely face the problem, and from getting rid of this particular problem, generally what we do, we add such kind of materials. Those are hygroscopic in nature and that absorb the water or the moisture from the environment more readily than the particular drug that we are using in the process of size reduction. And also we can control the environment of the size reduction so that the environmental moisture do not get incorporated in our sample that we are going to reduce in size. Okay. Next is the thermolability. Okay, thermolability, we have seen what happens. There are certain materials that are thermolabile. Thermolabile means that degrade when the temperature is increased. Okay, thermo means temperature, lability means the chemical degradation basically. Obviously, we know with the temperature, the reaction of the chemical the rate of the chemical reaction is increased. Obviously, we know the hydrolysis and the oxidation processes are going on. The moisture that is present in our environment and the oxygen that is present in our environment reacts with the sample and oxidizes and the hydrolyze our sample. Okay. Now, the rate of the reaction of the hydrolysis and the oxidation is increased when the temperature is increased. As we have already discussed, during the process of size reduction, the temperature of the machinery and the sample itself is increased. Obviously, the rate of all these chemical reactions will also be increased, due to which what will happen, the chemical will degrade very easily. Okay, you are required to remember the thermolabile substances. We feel difficulty during the process of size reduction. What we do, we just control our environment, we can control the moisture, we can control the air, and we can also control the temperature. Which will be what will be suitable for us, we will be controlling that thing and will be using our process size reduction. Okay, moving further, the purity is also always, basically it is not a factor, but when we are forming a pharmaceutical product, okay, the purity is required in each and every pharmaceutical product that we are going to manufacture. Okay, and if we are using the process of size reduction, what happens, few particles from the surface of that machinery that we are using for the process of size reduction, we are converting that material into small particles. What happens, few particles from the or few contents of that machinery may come in our final product, due to which that material may become contaminated. Okay, so we should use the higher quality machinery for the process of size reduction. Next is flammability. We have certain materials that are explosive in nature. When we are increasing the temperature and we are applying impact on that particular material, there may be explosion during this process. Okay, so we should control all these things accordingly, the nature of that particular material only. Okay, now the particle size. Obviously, smaller the particle size, we feel easiness in the particle size reduction. If we have a particle of larger size, obviously we will feel difficulty and more time for the process of size reduction. Smaller the particle size, and we can make that particle more smaller with a short of duration, or in short duration we can say. Okay, and the moisture. Obviously, the substances or the materials that have moisture more than 5%, definitely their hardness is changed. If we are increasing the moisture content of that particular sample, that particular material 5%, 10%, 20%, 30% or 50%, what happens? It loses its hardness. And the moisture content, obviously, if there is a large amount of moisture, we will definitely feel difficulty in reducing the size. It will make a kind of slurry that in that particular machinery. If we are using a lot of water content in that particular material, means we should make our samples dry before you converting them into smaller size by using the process of size reduction. Okay, so this was almost the general introduction of the size reduction. In our next lecture, we will be discussing the machineries, what is their principle, what is their construction, and how all those machineries are working, and what are their advantages, what are disadvantages, and what kind of materials we are going to use for the size reduction on those specified or specific machinery. Okay, just go through this lecture very carefully, try to learn each and every aspect that I have discussed. Okay, if you have any question in your mind, you can definitely comment in the comment box. I will try to answer all those questions instantly. Okay, till then, bye bye and happy learning.